I spent days researching this after something I read genuinely scared me, and what I found changed how I think about living in this country. Do you know how many bridges cross the Mississippi River? Do you know which roads you'd take if every single one of them was gone? Do you know what happens to your food, your fuel, and your family when the entire middle of America becomes impassable overnight? Because most Americans can't answer a single one of those questions. And if the new Madrid Seismic Zone ever does what geologists have been quietly warning about for decades, that ignorance won't just be embarrassing, it'll be fatal. Here's what nobody tells you about the Mississippi River. It's not just a river. It's the spine of the entire United States. 17 states drain into it. The entire American agricultural system depends on barges moving up and down it. Every single day, over 500 million tons of cargo travel that waterway. Grain, fuel, chemicals, steel, and sitting directly underneath it, running from Illinois down through Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky, is one of the most dangerous fault systems on the planet, the new Madrid Seismic Zone. And the last time it fully ruptured, in 1811 and 1812, it rang church bells in Boston. It made the Mississippi River flow backwards. It created a lake in Tennessee that still exists today. That was before 35 million people lived on top of it. Imagine you wake up on a Tuesday morning in Memphis, Tennessee. Your kids are getting ready for school. Your coffee is brewing. And then your house starts moving like a ship in a storm, and it doesn't stop for 2 full minutes. This is where it gets deadly. A magnitude 7.7 or higher on the new Madrid fault, which USGS scientists say has a real probability of happening within the next 50 years, would collapse an estimated 3,500 bridges across the central United States. Not damage. Collapse. The I-40 bridge over the Mississippi in Memphis, the I-55 bridge, the Hernando de Soto bridge, gone. And here's the part that will surprise you. When those bridges fall, the country doesn't just slow down. It splits in half, east and west, cut off from each other like two separate nations. Your Amazon delivery won't be the problem. Your grocery store will be empty in 72 hours. Most people get this completely wrong. They think a disaster like this affects only the people at the epicenter. But the Mississippi River split doesn't work that way. The supply chain collapse spreads outward like a shock wave. Within 1 week, fuel shortages hit 23 states. Grocery stores from Ohio to California start running out of basics, not because they were damaged, but because the trucks can't get through. The detour routes, they add 1,200 miles to shipments that normally cross in a single bridge pass. Most trucking companies will simply stop running. Remember the COVID shortages in 2020? Empty shelves, no toilet paper, no meat? That happened with the supply chain still technically functioning. Now, picture that same panic, with half the country's highways physically severed. This is the part that genuinely surprised me when I researched it. Almost nobody in the survival community talks about New Madrid specifically. So what do you actually do? Here's the thing. You can't sandbag a fault line, but you can make sure your family doesn't become a statistic. First, water. Memphis sits on the Mississippi. After a quake that size, every water treatment facility in the region will either be destroyed or contaminated. You need a minimum of 1 gallon per person per day for 2 weeks. Stored now, before anything happens. A 55-gallon water barrel from Walmart runs about $40. Fill it. Put it in your garage. Stop putting this off. Second, the thing survival channels never mention, you need a paper map. Not Google Maps, not Apple Maps. A physical Rand McNally road atlas, $15 at any truck stop or Amazon. Because when your phone towers are down and your GPS can't connect and you need to find an alternate route around a collapsed bridge system, your phone is just a flashlight. Know the back roads out of your city before you need them. Know which highways run east-west without crossing the Mississippi. Highway 72 in Alabama. Highway 412 in Arkansas. Know these now. Third, cash. After Hurricane Katrina, ATMs were down across the Gulf Coast for weeks. Card readers don't work without power. Keep a minimum of $400 in small bills, 5s and 10s, stored somewhere in your home, not your wallet, your home. Because the gas station that still has fuel after a disaster will be cash only, and the line will be around the block. And here's the part that will surprise you about the Mississippi split specifically. It doesn't just block movement, it blocks communication infrastructure. Thousands of fiber optic cables, natural gas pipelines, and electrical transmission lines cross that river through those same bridges. When the bridges fall, a significant portion of internet and power infrastructure for the central U.S. goes with them. You're not just cut off physically, you're going dark digitally. The thing survival channels never mention is this: the people who survive a new Madrid event won't be the people who panicked and drove toward the chaos. They'll be the people who stayed put, had supplies, and waited for the first wave of panic to exhaust itself. The first 72 hours after a disaster like this are the most dangerous, not because of the earthquake itself, but because of the people around you who didn't prepare. Everything I just told you, that's only half the story. The part most survival channels never cover. That's coming next. And trust me, you need to hear it. But before that video drops, do one thing today. Pull up Google Maps, search your city, and count how many routes you have that don't cross the Mississippi. Most Americans living in the central U.S. have fewer than 2. Most have 1. So tell me, if every bridge near you collapsed tonight, do you know your way out? Drop your city and your backup route in the comments, because your answer might be the one that helps someone else survive.